Fred here, and welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. In this episode, I will be doing an unboxing and giving you my first impressions of the SOG Pentagon Elite 1. From the first time that I saw this knife hanging in the store, the one thing that always came to mind was it looks like a knockoff of the Applegate Fairbane or Fairbairn. How about the Fairbane? Okay, Apple Fairbane knife. It looks a lot like it to me. Some of you may agree, some of you may disagree, but it does sort of have that spear point type blade, and it looks like it has it's double edged, but it's not. It's a single edge. Now, if you notice, this is totally ambidextrous, and it uses the SOG arc lock that's tested to over 1,100 pounds of force, and that's at the lock, not way out here. Now, if you notice, I'm going to go ahead and turn this around a little bit. As a matter of fact, I already opened this up, so I'm not going to waste your time cutting and everything. If you notice, it says "Be blasted." It says arc lock. It says the handle is glass reinforced ITEL handle, and it has a grip that you can mount on either side, and it's blade up. But over here it says AUS 8 stainless steel. Now, if you were to buy a new one in the store, you're most likely not going to have one that's AUS 8. It is going to be VG10. In around 2008, they changed over, SOG did, from AUS 8 to the better steel VG10 around 2008, maybe late 2007. So I got a good deal on this. But don't let someone charge you a whole bunch of money for the AUS 8. Basically, I got this for, I think it was around 69 bucks, but the VG10 version is probably up there around $80 to $90. But don't let someone try to charge you $80 and $90 for the AUS 8. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. And let's see what else we get in the packaging. You get a knife. They explain about the arc lock and typical stuff. Also, typical of SOG is to give you a pamphlet of all the neat knives, sort of like a little mini catalog of some of their products. So let's get a first impression. Wow, first of all, it's very smooth right out of the box. Incredible. Look at that. This is not spring assisted. This is just that smooth. Incredible. Now, most SOGs have a little bit of play out of the box, and it really doesn't feel like any play that's normal. There's always, with these arc locks, to me, a very, very slight up down, and sometimes that goes away with use as that arc lock sort of digs in a little bit better. So let me show you how this arc lock works real close like. You can see how this sort of arcs out as the back of the blade pushes it, and then it's going to get to the slot that it will arc back into. You can see that, and that's why it's such a strong lock, 1,100 pounds at that lock. Now, the texture is really good, which is a good thing because there's no hand guard, no finger choils, no jimping on the blade. There is a little bit of jimping here, to sort of help, and your finger does sort of get into this groove here, which is a little uncomfortable, but it's really the texture and you holding this really good that's going to keep your hand from slipping down onto the blade. And this blade is made for stabbing. This is a fighting knife. Now, as you can see, this version is partially serrated, and the serrations are, you know, your typical 3-point serrations. Nothing to write home about. They at least are not very pointy, so they feel like they would do a very good job. And again, you have that false edge up here, spear point design, ambidextrous thumb studs, Looks like there's a screw there in case you need to remove it. And you have this shark tooth here on the end. So what this does is, instead of it coming out further to a very skinny thin point that's prone to breaking, they sort of chopped it a little bit and gave it that double-edged tooth design, which really improves the strength of the tip of this knife. Very sharp. Now if you notice, this version here, which is the earlier pre-2008 version, says Pentagon Elite 1, Seki, Japan. These are made in Seki, Japan. AS 8 is Japanese steel, which is what this particular one is. AS 8 is comparable with, roughly comparable to 440B steel. This is B-blasted. Sorry about that. B-blast finish, which does make it a little more prone to corrosion, so you want to keep this oiled well. You can see that. So let's go ahead and do a quick paper test on this. Went ahead and grabbed some paper, and we'll do a slow cut, and we'll do a fast cut. So it comes sharp out of the clam pack, blister pack, whatever you want to call it, pack. Now I forgot to show you the inside here, and you can see that it is it has a steel liner. It's not skeletonized in any way, so that gives it a little bit of weight. There's no twist or anything to it. This is a 4-inch blade, roughly, and you know what? I didn't weigh it, so I'm going to have to look up the weight really quick. So the weight on my male scale there is 4.3 ounces. So again, typical SOGs. They do have just an ever so slight. Actually, I really don't feel it. I'm like looking for it, but I actually don't feel any side to side. There's that very slight, very slight up and down, barely. So I'm pretty happy with it. It's just unbelievably smooth. That is just crazy smooth. Tip up. And again, left or right hand carry, but only tip up. This might be one of the smoothest knives I've ever bought. It's as quick as a assisted opener. So, if you could get the VG10 version, which should be the version that's out there, you could probably find it as little as $80 to $85 on a good bargain. I would highly recommend this. I would definitely highly recommend this. The VG10 is an unbelievable steel. It is it takes out a crazy sharp edge and holds it, and it's just a little bit better corrosion resistant than this AS 8. I just happened to get a good deal on the AS 8, and everything else is pretty identical. Now there's the Pentagon Elite 2, which has a bigger blade. I believe that's like a 5-inch blade, and this is the one, which is the 4-inch blade, which is already kind of big. Let's see, what is the full size of this thing? Again, let me just double check. Yep, 4-inch blade there. And the total length of this guy is just about 8.5 inches long, folded. I just love doing this. It's just so smooth. Looks a hair over 4.5 inches long when it's closed, roughly. Just really nice. I'll let you take a close-up of that aggressive checkering. It's not so aggressive it's going to tear up your hand, but it's grippy. It's done right. You have a nice lanyard hole, definitely big enough for 550 cord, capable of holding 550 pounds, right? 550 cord. Believe it or not, I didn't know that until someone told me in a video. Hey, stupid, 550 cord is 550 pound test. Again, you have your torque screw there that you could adjust your pivot screw. I'm trying to see what type of liners that has. That appears to be Teflon liners. Usually you could tell if it's white, it's usually like a Teflon washer, which is what that looks like. If you see copper or brass, it would be obvious. Incredible knife. Absolutely incredible. I mean, if you're looking for a dagger style or spear point, and you're looking for something very smooth, innovative shark tooth tip there, so it's not as prone to breaking the tip, this could be your knife. And again, VG10, outstanding steel. Although, again, this one is the OS 8 version. If you find an OS 8 version out there, just make sure you're getting a $20 basically knocked off the price, I would say. I could just never leave good enough alone. Most SOG knives, out of the box, just require just a little bit of tweaking. In this case, the T9 for that Torx pivot screw there. And I got rid of the, I mean, it was like, I don't know if I could even call it back, side-to-side play or not. It really wasn't. Just the ever slight existence of it. You could feel it but not see it, kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about? So anyway, I just got it I torqued it a little bit, just a little too tight, and it started getting too stiff, and it backed up just a little bit, and now it's perfect. And it still has that very, very smooth, you could just use your wrist and just flick that thing out and flip it back while you're pulling back on the arc lock. And it's it's just as fast as a assisted opening. It's incredible. So, very happy. So, thank you very much for joining me here at the Gear Obsession channel. I really appreciate friends, viewers, and subscribers for coming back, just to give you my honest opinion, and hopefully make it so you're not wasting your money on junk and showing you the good stuff. So, I hope you have a great evening, and how about them Jets?